to the sky. Never let adventures pass you by. Be free and follow your crazy dreams. We're living our vision in the RV. Come ride with us and you'll be free.
It's hard to believe that it's already been 3 months living full-time in a van. It definitely is different from our past 2 RVs that we've traveled and lived in these past 3.5 years now. From making our bed, to putting things away, working, as well as setup and teardown. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how we've been getting along in the Grad Strata Ion, how we've been liking it, how things are going, and to be honest, we have not even discussed what we're going to talk about. I told Michelle, let's just act as if somebody's just asking us questions. Let's just tell you how we're liking it. Just tell you how it is. Before we start talking about how things are going, we need America the Beautiful Pass.
It's the annual pass that gets you into national parks, some national forests, national monuments.
Yeah.
It's an annual pass, and it's about $80 for the card every year, and ours is due. It expires at the end of this month of June.
And there's only certain places that you can get them renewed at.
You can order them online and have them mailed. I think it takes 2 to 3 weeks to mail it for $5, or you can expedite it for like 2 to 3 days for an extra $15.
Yeah.
But there's also certain places that you could go to that you can buy it at, and the places would be like some Corps of Engineer parks, some national parks, and we happen to have is Lake Saylorville a Corps of Engineer?
Yeah, there's one place out. That's where we're going.
Okay.
Saylorville Lake. That's here, really close to the Des Moines, Iowa area. And that's where we got I think that's where we got this one, wasn't it, last time? Or was it Sedona?
We got this one somewhere else last year, but the year before we got it out there. So 2 years ago we got it at Saylorville Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And we've been in Iowa now for about a couple months, and we're getting ready to take off to start exploring more again. Yeah. It's been fun visiting family.
It has.
But anyway, since we're not going to be in one place very long now, we're going to be doing a lot of moving, probably a lot of dry camping, and so we're not going to have a place really that we can have it mailed to other than our mail service. But if we do that, then we're going to have to have our mail service sent to us somewhere that we know we're going to be, and sometimes that takes a few days, and you never know exactly when it's going to come. So that's why we're going to do it right now. Man, that took a long time to explain that. All right, we're going to jump right to getting our America the Beautiful Pass, just to show you where it's at in case you come. It's right by the dam area. That was not a bad word. At Saylorville Lake, right by their campground down there by the dam. Again, not a bad word. And in case you come through this area, if you're heading through Interstate 80 going right through Des Moines, you can just swing off and run up and get it, because it's about 10 minutes, I would say, I'm guessing, from I-80 on the northwest side of the Des Moines area, over by Johnston, Iowa, the suburb. This is where we got it before, but I don't know if anybody's here.
Check in. Oh, maybe
Call that number. So apparently there's a phone number here to call. Hold, please.
I'm thinking
It's so pretty out here.
calling the camp.
You've reached Bob Shetler Campground. If you're getting this message and need to check in, leave your first name, last name, and your site number.
The hours, booth hours, 3
Yeah.
p.m. to 7 p.m. 9 to 10 or 3 to 7.
It's 20
And
after
it's
1.
after 1. Well, if we could have got a hold of somebody ahead of time to find that out, but we didn't.
They wouldn't answer. It was a different phone number, though. Well, I'm glad I got out.
Why?
No America the Beautiful passes are available at this location. They can be purchased at the Visitor Center Administration Building, Cherry Glen Campground, and Prairie Flower Campground. What was the place I was asking you to call this morning?
Cherry Glen. I tried to call the visitor center earlier and nobody answered.
Cherry Glen. How about calling there? That's a good idea.
I don't have a number. Did it give a number?
Let's try looking it up.
They
All
didn't
right,
give
well,
it.
skip that. Don't come here because they don't sell them here anymore. So here's a good idea. Since we're wasting so much time today, why don't we just talk about our experience in this van while we're heading over to Cherry Glen.
And we've been in this van now 3 months. I had to just figure that out, do the math.
It's
3
been
months
3
already.
months already. Wow.
Yeah. It doesn't really seem like it's been that long already.
No. Should we just jump right to what you don't like or what we like?
Well, I think everybody knows I probably don't like the bathroom.
Yeah.
Now I have.
Why? Tell us why. Why do you not like the bathroom?
Obviously it's small, but it's the fact that it's a wet bath. So you don't have it's not a designated shower area stall all by itself. You know, you got the sink and the toilet, shower all in one. So I have adjusted to that obviously after 3 months. It's just not on my, most favorite things of the van, It's probably at the very bottom.
So would that be a deal breaker for you? For wanting
No.
not necessarily this or any Class B. I mean, this one, we do love this, everything about it, other than the bathroom.
Yeah.
We thought about the Class B before, and we thought we could kind of envision how it would be. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, living in it. But until you actually do, travel in it, live in it, you really I really don't think we've seen or could comprehend all the benefits or, the negativity of the bathroom, I guess.
Yeah.
But it has been awesome for traveling in.
Yes, we definitely love it for traveling.
Yes. It's been better than our Class A for traveling. It's been better than the truck and the Airstream for many reasons. It's more comfortable to ride in for one. And I can't tell you how many times the conveniences have been so nice, when we go places where we have everything with us all the time. Gosh, I'm trying to think of some instances, like one that always pops in my mind, which is kind of funny, but we were really busy in town and we were trying to make it to the other side of town in time for a meetup with another couple to go out for dinner. And we were running short on time. We were doing a bunch of stuff and it was hot that day. And the first thing popped in my mind is, gosh, we need to go back to the campground so that I can take a shower. And then it dawned on me, is like, why do you need to go clear back to the campground just to take a shower?
Right.
And we didn't know if we're going to have enough time to do that and still make it there in time without being late. And we just went and drove to the restaurant in the parking lot, found a place
Inconspicuous.
Yeah, I mean, well, nobody can see in here when you're taking a shower anyway. They have no idea what you're doing in here. So we just went there and in the parking lot, just jumped in the shower, and we were done. Had plenty of time to spare. So that was really nice. But
we did that one other time when we went to. We were out running errands that day, and we decided to go to the casino for the horse races.
Yeah.
And wanted to, freshen up. Basically did the exact same thing in the parking lot.
Yeah. We never attempted to boondock near as much as we do now. Which has been really nice.
Yeah.
Saves you a lot of money. When you have something that's got the battery power like this does, that you can boondock and not have, you can run your AC and not have to worry about running out of power. You're not consuming any propane, you're not consuming any fuel. It's running directly off batteries. That is so nice.
And because speaking of that, it has been so hot here lately, like last 2 weeks straight for sure. It's been in the 90s or high 90s.
Yeah.
Heat index 100, humid, and we went to our granddaughter's softball games.
Oh yeah.
So it was really nice to take this there and keep the AC running during the game, so that when the game was over, we came in, it was nice, cool.
Yeah, we do that all the time. We just let it leave the AC on when we go to somebody's house. Just leave the AC on or whatever if it's if it's hot out. You can do the same thing with the furnace too. Now the furnace in this is that that Timberline diesel burner. So if you're dry camping, you're going to be running off of your diesel fuel in your tank. So at that time, you're going to be consuming your diesel fuel. But with the batteries, with the AC, you're not really losing anything of value.
I have thought of another thing though. Again, with the whole being fully self-contained, having the good battery power and everything, is while we're in the Des Moines area, this is the headquarters of the company that I work for. And I have to go into the office to work. Well, sometimes in the evenings, we know we're just gonna leave the very next morning. He's gonna drop me off at work. There's been a few times where we haven't even bothered hooking up at all. Not even the power nor the water. Yeah,
which I just told her the other day. I was like, when we do that sometimes, it's kind of silly that we drive all the way back to the campgrounds. Because we could just find a place just to dry camp.
But it is,
you can.
Yeah. But on the times that we do, you do hook up the power and or the water too. In the morning, it's just a good 5 minutes to just unhook everything, and we're on our way. So
it really is.
It's not a big deal.
I don't know how many times we've had, we're at a campground, somebody wants to pick us up, and they say, "Would you like us to pick you up so we don't have to tear down?" And it's like,
no, we can actually pick you up.
I know we've told this before, but really, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And plus, a lot of times the people that we're meeting with or want to go out to eat or whatever, they're kind of curious about this too, and they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So we like to just quickly disconnect and go pick them up so they can get a little feel of it too. But going back to your work thing, that's another thing that has been very convenient. Again, everything's with us, including everything I used to work with. So I drop her off at work when we're here in Des Moines, and I just go downtown right there to save fuel. There's no reason to go clear back to the campground, which is about 15 minutes. I just stay down there and work all day.
Yeah.
And I have my AC, and which I tested it in high temps, and went an 8-hour day with the AC running all day, and it was down to like 38% at the end of the day, which was so that was a good test, because we haven't been in really hot heat where we were not on utilities, on shore power.
Right.
So that was a good test. To have this for full time, and I know Michelle feels this way because we've already talked about this, we would have to probably have something that would give us a little break in between. Like having a park model somewhere, or a little home base, which is something that we want to do, just for the simple fact of getting everything out of our storage unit that we've been wasting so much money on all these years. Our storage unit has been costing us about $130 some a month.
Well, it didn't start out like that, but it's increased every year, and of course, when we first went full-time RVing, we didn't even really have a lot of furniture in there. It's just a lot of little things, it seems like. Almost 4 years later, we're like, why do we have all this stuff again? Wasting money.
That turns my stomach to think of all that money being wasted. I'm thinking back to when we stayed in Palm Springs for 6 months.
Oh yeah, for the first winter.
We still worked all week, and then we still took off and went on little
explored on the weekends
and was able to give content. We could do the same thing if we were staying in a park model for a month or just a few weeks or something, We're stuck inside working regardless of where we're working. But when we go out and shoot our videos, then we just take off. So that's an option. We've thought about that too.
Mm-hmm.
We just absolutely love traveling, and we don't see an end to that anytime soon.
Right.
It could come someday, who knows. But here we are. We're at Cherry Glen. We're going to pick up our America the Beautiful pass.
Get another one of those. Oh, whoop.
We have so many different passes and everything is different.
We got our pass.
Yay!
We're good for another year.
Talked to a very nice couple there.
Sounds like we're going to be in South Dakota about the same time too.
Might run into them again.
Got some advice on a few places to camp there. Probably going to dry camp a lot because I'm enjoying this dry camping. So.
I would like to know how you feel about cooking in here, but since you do most of the cooking.
Oh, it does seem like we don't cook near as much since we've had this.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
I don't know why.
Because
we're always rushing.
Yeah, we're always rushing. Where it's easy to just go
Stop somewhere. Yeah.
and
Since we've been back to Iowa, it's like constant rush, rush, rush. Especially with our granddaughters. Softball games directly right after work. We're rushing to get there in time, and then right afterwards we just don't even feel like cooking. And it's getting late, so we don't want it to be even later by the time we eat, so we just end up getting something. But
I would say
it's probably my least favorite spot to cook.
Yeah.
Compared to what we've had before, but at least it works. I mean, it's
good for maybe a small, quick meal, but I wouldn't see like
2 burners. I forgot how many burners we had.
making any, not making a big spread of anything,
No Thanksgiving dinners here. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, it does fine for cooking. You don't have as much counter space, but you can put this little table, fold-up table up to get more space. So I guess if you think about it, we have just about as much counter space as we did before. We didn't think we had hardly anything. We had a little confined space even with the Airstream to cook on too. But
this is just a smaller space though.
Yeah.
But
got a little bit on the right, and then you can use that, and you can also put that cover into the sink too if you wanted to.
Now we're not giving a tour on this video. You'll have to go look at our video
Tour, man.
couple videos ago or whatever, where we gave a full tour. Yeah. Sorry, you're not gonna get it here.
She's hardcore.
The fridge. Now, I'm really liking this fridge compared to what we had in our motorhome and Airstream, because in both of those basically was the same Dometic fridge. It was the propane and electric version or whatever, and this is all electric, and I don't know, I feel like it has just as much room
in the fridge. Now the freezer part I don't like as much. The freezer is smaller
really
than what
tiny,
we've had,
like shoebox.
Yeah, but it hasn't been really a problem for it. Not much of a problem when you don't cook.
I know, when we eat out all the time.
But that whole bottom area, that big compartment, that's really handy.
Right, we put all our water, bottled water in there.
If anything
milk cartons.
Yeah, if something doesn't fit in the other area, you're full, whatever, you can just it's got that big space right there. You can just lay it right on top. You can stack stuff there. It's and it keeps it all confined so it doesn't move around.
Right.
That's pretty. Yeah, I agree. I really like this fridge for a smaller fridge. It really utilizes the space really well.
What else?
But this almost needs to be a live stream so that we can just answer questions, because I'm sure there's something that we're missing.
People ask if we had to downsize quite a bit. to go, from the Airstream down to this. I would say not too much. We did a little, but
Yeah.
we basically just got rid of things we weren't using anyway.
Yeah.
But most of everything in our Airstream we fit in here. There was like a what size box that we mailed back.
Yeah,
to-
2 foot square box that we just had a bunch of stuff that we mailed back here to our son's house, and then picked it up when we
Once
got here to put in storage. Add to that storage.
Yeah.
But one thing else that we should probably mention for those that have not seen our previous videos, if you're new to our channel, we don't own this. We're just testing it out. We agreed to become ambassadors for Gretsch RV and test it out, and they agreed right up front that it was okay if, we told them we were going to be totally honest, whether it's good or bad, and they didn't want anything any different. They're very confident about their product, and I can see why. It is very good quality.
It is.
So they have different models, but this is the 2022 Red Strata Ion Tour, and it has the lithium package, of course, that we talked about. That is really super nice. And so the MSRP is $227, but we do like it. We like it a lot. We like it a lot. I like how easy and quick it is to disconnect. The thing I probably love the most is the sewer hose.
Oh my goodness, not everybody will say that.
No, I love that sewer hose.
That's creepy.
Being that small diameter hose, and yes, everything, gray tank, black tank, everything goes through that. Even though this black tank is smaller than what we had on our Airstream, we can go a lot longer with the black tank than we could on our Airstream, because the Airstream wasted a lot of water and filled up that tank every time you would flush. Well, this, with that, once you go to empty the tanks, you click the button and the macerator turns on at the same time as the pump does, pumps everything through that small hose. And then when you're done, you just hit your automatic retract button and it just winds back up. So you don't leave the hose sitting out. You can if you want to, and it has an adapter, that so you can leave the hose. But when you're coming and going a lot, we just I just pull it out empty and just put it right back.
Tank sizes of this model has 26 gallon fresh, 27 gallon gray, and 13 gallon black.
Yeah, and again, that 13 gallon black, do you remember what our Airstream had?
Oh,
but
let me look.
We honestly can go longer in this than we could the
Yeah.
Airstream, simply because of that wasted so much water. And again, the gray, we may have been able to go a little bit longer in the Airstream, but not much, and that's because this has instant hot water. And every time we would wash dishes in the Airstream or take showers, we would have to leave the water running and sit there and wait for it to get hot before it can get in to take a shower. And all that water is just filling up that gray tank.
Right.
So
Our
makes a big
Airstream,
difference.
the 33 classic model, had 54 gallon fresh, 37 gray, and 39 black.
Wow.
But what he was saying about the black tank is it filled up so quickly because the toilet itself had the macerator and would just
keep
use
running.
a lot of water right away to flush. And yeah, we always had to empty that water.
It had 2 settings on it, but it didn't matter which setting was on. It still wasted a lot of water.
Yeah.
And it filled it up. Where this, it just flush, and then you can fill it up exactly how much water you want by pushing the pedal, like kind of your normal. Most of your other RVs are like that too.
Yeah.
But just comparing those two models together, that's all we're doing here.
Right.
This actually lasts longer with the 13 gallon black tank than the, what was it on the Airstream?
39.
39 gallon.
Versus
That's
13.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
I love the convenience. I love how quick it is to tear down and just take off. That little bit of, it's probably not even 5 minutes, depending on if we have stuff sitting out in here, which you can't have much sitting
Yeah,
out.
we really don't have a whole lot sitting out all day long, so just a couple little things put back in the cabinet.
My son's trying to peek through.
Yay!
Thank goodness. I don't know about you guys, but I feel much better when the sun's shining.
I do too. It really brightens the mood.
It does, brightens the mood, much like what you guys do for us.
That's
as
right.
a matter of fact. And actually, that being said, we probably should be telling you and letting you know how much you guys mean to us and how thankful we are.
Yes, we really do appreciate all your support, all your comments, and your loyalty. It really does mean a lot to us and
does.
makes our day.
It means the world to us.
We thank you all very, very much for that.
Yes, thank you. That said, I think it's time to call it a day. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
Hey.
Let's call it a day.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up. See you next week.